Academia.
Welcome to the My Hero Academia podcast, episode 68. Kendra and Sophie are out this week because they are both appearing on the One Piece podcast. Yay!
Woo! They hit the big time.
Yeah, they did. Not jealous or anything, but no, I'm just kidding.
Really, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just would love to start out by saying I am so super excited for them, and congratulations to them for being able to get on there. I hope they have a wonderful time.
Yeah, same.
Agreed. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, you might notice that I don't sound like Sophie or Kendra because I'm your guest host, James, a.k.a. That One Welder Guy, a.k.a. Weldy. And we have our other co-host, Gary. Say hello, Gary.
Hello, Gary.
Yes.
And we have our special guest, Nick.
Hello.
Right. All right. So for the news this week, we see Horikoshi's comment for this week. It says, "My dream of being in the same issue of Jump as my mentor Tanaka-sensei has come true. I can't believe it, but I have no clue who he's talking about."
Yeah.
I haven't checked. I have no clue. But we also have other news that My Hero Academia won Best Manga for the Harvey Awards this year. So yay!
Woo.
So much for them calling it a mid-series, which really pisses me off. But it's a whole nother story.
Yeah, people be hating anything in the public eye. So
I keep asking what's so specific to hate about it, and I never get a real answer. So I'm just like, okay, whatever then.
Right.
But yeah, and then another news we got. Apparently they're doing a live show with the voice cast that will air before and after the first episode of My Hero Academia Season 4. And it's going to be Kaiji Yuki, the voice of Todoroki, Yamashita Daiki, the voice of Deku, Shingaki Tarasuki as Mirio, and Sakura Ayane as Uraraka. I don't know if we'll get that, but it'd be cool if we did. I mean, they did that special episode for Dr. Stone where they interviewed the production of it, so maybe we might get this episode too.
I hope so. I'd definitely like to see it.
Yeah, I like extra content. They just need to give it to us.
Yeah, right?
Yep. And also, we also have another trailer for Season 4 of My Hero Academia, which I believe is English subbed. So you guys should definitely check that out. And Funimation also made the announcement that the Season 4 will be same-day simuldub. So that's pretty cool.
That's excellent.
Yep.
yeah, excited for that. And when is it coming out? It's coming out next Saturday.
Yep, next Saturday. I can't wait.
I think it's the 14th or no, the 12th.
Yeah, the 12th.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, I really like the dub too, honestly. That's like one of my favorite dubs.
Yeah.
They do such a good job.
I agree. I think we could only go see the movie on the weekend when it first came out in September, and I watched it. So we had to watch it dubbed for the first time, and I was super impressed. I was really happy with how well they treated this series. So I would highly recommend the dub as well.
I watched it, a good chunk of it Japanese, because I was watching it as it was coming out in season 2, and the simul dub was maybe a week or two behind. So then when I bought season 2 on DVD, I rewatched it, and I remember especially Shinso in the English, it really hit me, how, I don't know, emotionally I got really affected by the performance. And so yeah, I'm a huge subscriber to the dub. They do such a great job.
Yeah. And also I saw that we're getting a My Hero Academia 1 Justice 2 Electric Boogaloo. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're getting a sequel to the My Hero 1 Justice game, and if you've played it, it's a pretty fun game. And it's coming out on
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's coming out for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One. Maybe it might come out on PC. I'm not sure if the first one came out on PC. I'll have to check it out. But usually Bandai Namco games come out on.
It was on Steam, I believe.
They almost always come out on PC. You're right. So I'll have to look into one's Justice, 2's Justice, Red's Justice, Blue's Justice when it comes out.
Yeah, they say 2020. I saw, and a trailer came out for it because in last week's Shonen Jump they had like pictures of Midoriya and Overhaul as playable, and then when the trailer came out, they revealed Mina, the big three, being Tamaki, Mirio, and Najire, and then Mineta as playable. Which, well, honestly, like I'm not sad about it because you can just like beat him in like training mode or whatever.
I was gonna say you could yeet him out of existence.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
was
kick
just
him.
thinking training mode right when you said that. Genius.
Yeah, I know. Just like switch all his controls off and just like beat up his lifeless corpse.
Yeah, he's gonna be the character I practice my combo moves on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He's so short. If you can hit him, you can probably do it on most of the cast.
I want to know what that hit counter is, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Gran Torino was in the first one. I didn't really play as him much, but yeah, he was really small compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Did he float in midair, or was he like a grounded fighter?
Yeah, he was on the ground, but he did. He had like a lot of air combos. Like he would just be whipping around quite a bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, and I think that's it for the news. And let's head off to the mangas. All right, that'd be you, Nick.
All right, right on. Let's get started. Number 245, Rise to Action. So we start off with Endeavor's thoughts of Hawks, where Hawks is beginning to say, I just want to enjoy myself. I want to make this world one where heroes have time to kill. And Endeavor, with his grouchy man face, is just something feels off.
He's concentrating.
Yeah, he's like I wish he had like a little picture of two gears working behind him or something. That's what it reminds me of. And Hawks is responding with his serious expression too. Like that's one of the most serious Hawks' faces I think we've seen. And he just says, "Read it, please." And Midoriya, ever nerdy, "That's recommended reading from the number 2 hero. Maybe I should check it out. Perhaps it holds the secret to his trademark speed," as he whips around. "Here, I've got copies for everyone."
Wow.
He's so prepared. Where did those come from? That's a great question. Like he's just
doling them out. Have you joined the Hawks book club? Or what was it, Oprah's book club called?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
It was called Oprah's Book Club.
Is it just called Oprah's? I have no idea. I just know that.
I think so.
It's got a special sticker that says Hawks Book Club on it.
This episode should totally be called Hawks Book Club.
You get a book, you get a book, and you get a book.
That's what I was waiting to say, but you didn't do it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Everyone's liberated. And so Hawks continues, "That's right, it's the era of number 2. When it comes to speed, it's all about reading which way the wind's blowing." And Shoto begins to, he must really love this book to carry around so many copies. Midoriya's, it's almost like he's spreading the gospel.
I called it.
Yeah, for real. Bingo, Midoriya, as he gives with a thumbs up. "I'm recommending it to all my friends and heroes across the country, because if nothing else, that liberation ideology will be pretty darn fundamental going forward." And then he gives Hawks Endeavor another serious glance. "At least give the highlighted sections a glance. That's my second recommendation in so many words." Hawks, stop, you're being obvious. And so then as he leaves, "All 4 of you, good luck with the work study. Train these kids as best as you can, Endeavor," he thinks to himself. "Only 22, but he comes off as much wiser," Midoriya says. "Just 6 years older than us." Shoto says, "Ticks me off," says Bakugo. And Endeavor opens the book and just, okay. And ever the one with words. And then we get what appears to be Endeavor's agency. I love the flames at the tips of the E. That's a nice little.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that is a pretty cool touch.
I like that E. It's a nice E. So moving forward.
Yeah, it's a pretty tall building. It's like he's overcompensating.
Dang it.
And I was thinking too, like looking back at like how Endeavor is like staring at Hawks like something's off and like he's weird, acting weird. Like my thought is like all he that's going through his mind is like, is he hitting on me or something like that?
I don't go for these backdoor shenanigans, Hawks, but
Yeah, you got to be upfront with Endeavor. Anyway, okay,
yeah.
so next page we get the inside of Endeavor's agency with a female, energetic, flaming hair girl in kind of a, well, I don't want to say I guess military type um, coat, garment, dress thingy.
Yeah, it does seem that way,
Did
doesn't
you
it?
know what's really interesting is there's like a gauge as her you see her
Right.
belt looks like
Yeah.
a gauge and like a tank behind her.
Yeah. So I wonder
Mhm.
if she's like steamy.
I didn't notice the tank. I wonder if she's like propane based or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I wonder if she's a propane in the neck. Oh, anyway.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah.
She reminds me of Meliorina from Black Clover.
Oh, okay. I don't read that one, so
Oh, that's
but
all
I'll
right.
take your word. I'll take your word for it. No worries.
I was like,
Um,
I just watched the OPs. They're pretty good. I just haven't watched the series yet.
Fair enough.
Oh, it would be funny if she was referred to as the propane hero, but she like has to correct people because she's the pain hero. They put pro on the front because she's a pro. Anyway,
He's a propane hero.
yeah,
My name's Vernon, and I expertise in propane and propane heroism.
and okay, sorry, we'll get back to it. But she welcomes a guy. She's like, "Welcome to Endeavor's Agency." And then we have like three other guys. One, I don't even know what he is. The one on top, he looks like a Chinese dragon, but like also a horse.
I have no idea. That's a weird character
He's
design.
got a lot going on. And then we have a guy that looks like a mummy in like a SWAT team vest. And then we got a guy, he looks kind of like a American Gladiator wrestling helmet, but it has horns on it. And he says, "We're the flaming sidekickers." And I don't know, they should think twice about using flaming as an adjective, but anyway, we'll keep on going. Then we kind of have a wide view of the agency, and it kind of looks like a government building, almost like a bank or something like that,
Yeah.
or a library, with desks set up and computers and the staff working away, carrying papers, etc. And let's see here. I think it's probably Vernon, and she's saying, even though we don't know her name yet, but her name is Vernon. Spoiler. She says this is the first work study for Bakugo and Shoto, right? And she says you three will get right down to business to defeat the Huns. No, she doesn't say that.
Oh
Doing
man.
what? I'll make a man out of you.
Y'all are on fire today. Ah!
Oh, it's the it's the Burning chapter. Okay, anyway. You three will get right down to business doing what we do around here, but as you can see, with over 30 sidekicks, we ain't exactly short-staffed. And then they're just staring, and Midoriya acknowledges in his head, "That's Burnin, a famous sidekick." It's like, okay, his thoughts are deep. So then she gets up in Bakugo's face, and she says, "What I'm saying is, you will get a chance to shine." And then he says, "Fun." Or this is Bakugo. "So we gotta try to beat the pros at their own game?" She's like, bingo. It's like the bingo chapter, man. Everybody's saying it. So then we got the four main ones, Vernon and the three other guys that we saw close up of. Says, "That goes for you too, Shoto. Don't assume anything just because you're the boss's kid." And then they're all like, "Flame on!" and then we see the three guys. It's like the wind is like hitting their face, and they're just kind of like stunned at the whole like introduction. And then she says, "You kids have got to sink your teeth into this job." Just like as a aside, like in the Squirrel Girl comic written by Ryan North and illustrated by Erica Henderson, back in the day anyway, when she did it, they had like a part where Jubilee was talking about her time with Wolverine, and she said like his claws didn't actually make the sound snicked. It was him like saying snicked as they came out. It just be like snicked. And then they like kind of continued in talking about like coincidentally the combustion made when the Human Torch turned on his flame power, it actually made the sound flame on. He wasn't saying flame on. So anyway, just a flame on trivia. Okay, so next we have Midoriya saying, "This place is so busy," and and then I don't know who's saying it, but they're like, "Of course, it's the #1 Heroes Agency. Dispatch request. Call the squad on patrol. They're too far. We'll go." So then the mummy guy looks at them and he's like, "Most of the time, we're either on patrol or standby, but we also handle over 100 requests every day, from 8 emergencies to escort missions to special events." Bakugo says, "Great, let's get to freaking work then. I've been pretty ticked off ever since that Spoonbill stole my glory." And then I don't know who's replying, but they're like, "Spoonbill," and it's got like sweat drops on the comment. "You mean Hawks?" So then the mummy guy is like, "You've got Moxie, guy, but we gotta wait for Endeavor's orders." And then, then Bakugo's like, "He's sitting on his butt. What happened to those 100 requests?" Midoriya says, "Kachan, please calm down." And one of the pros, probably Burnin, says, "Ha ha ha, you better cool that head of yours, kid." Then we see Endeavor in his room, and he says, "It doesn't make sense." He's probably like doing a connect the dots or something. Just kidding.
He just has a big empty room with this desk. That's what it looks like.
It's like so. It's very like CEO. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm willing to bet he has a trap door.
Oh yeah.
Like Mr. Burns.
Yeah.
Either that or the camera pans up and there's just a hole in the roof from every time he flies out.
That'd be
yeah.
great.
Yeah. And then he's commenting on Hawks again as he's flipping through the Meta Liberation War book. He says, or thinks, he was so different from usual. Then it's like flashbacking to Hawks, and he's like, "You should be the one to look into these ominous rumors and tell everyone there's nothing to fear. A society held together by personal responsibility, it's perfect for this day and age." And he thinks completely opposite messages. And then he's like, "A grinning braggart with his heart on his sleeve. That's who I thought you were. At least in front of me, you were always playing the fool." He has a lot of memories and like mental photographs of Hawks. Isn't that odd? Anyway.
That raises some questions.
Endeavor starts throbbing in the end there. And he's like complete opposite. As he thinks of like how Hawks was acting normally as opposed to this conversation. And he thinks that wasn't the real you. At least give the highlighted sections a glance. And so we see the first highlighted section, and I'm not going to read obviously everything there, but it shows it is vexing that we're the opponent. Those are the two highlighted parts of these pages. And then Hawk saying again, "That's my second recommendation in so many words." So anyway.
Hawk, stop it.
So then he's thinking something weird about how he said it. And it shows where the opponent highlighted. He's like there was something he couldn't say outright that he needed to communicate. Second words. And then it closes up on where the opponent again. And again, and Endeavor's eyes get big, and we see the phrases highlighted, these meta abilities of liberation concepts and private army of the, and then Endeavor in an action reading pose says the second word in each highlighted excerpt. They form a message, and then we see like Hawks dramatically flying.
So I don't know if we should mention this, but on Caleb's page, the translator for My Hero Academia, you can follow him at CD Cubed. He wrote that those pages that we were reading were a raw PDF file, apparently, that Horikoshi actually wrote more than was intended. That, I don't know if we'll ever see that.
That is some dedication to what you're trying to do in this chapter. Like, that's really awesome.
Yeah, I want to know what it says, though. And then he also says that it reads a lot like a nutty manifesto. On these pages, Destro describes a small-time politician who wasn't enough of an intellectual to comprehend Destro's ideology, implied and he paid with his life. So this tone is very condescending, sort of big brain or I am very smart. Oh, man, that's funny.
Meanwhile, we have Endeavor here reading it with a face of like, oh.
Yeah, I know. If you wanted to see action reading, you got that right there.
Yeah.
Didn't know you could make reading that interesting.
Yeah. It's the Reading Rainbow chapter. Okay.
Okay, and we go to the next page, and we have a close-up of Hawks. It says, I'm sure the commission figured out my coded message, but Endeavor is slower on the uptake. Was I not clear enough?
We were all thinking it. We were all thinking it.
And we see the next panel. It looks like another flashback, and says, since the Liberation Front has a bunch of heroes in its ranks, the commission can't very well go public with this intel. And I like that little panel because you see Hawks, and then you see a slide and go. I love every chapter that has just slide and go in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care in what form. It's like making him read my face like that. Gross, not my style. Ever the pretty boy, huh? And we go to Hawks intensely reading. Opponent is Meta Liberation Army, League hijacked, over 100,000 members strong. And we go back to Hawks flying around. I didn't have a choice. It's not as if I could write him a letter or anything. And we cut to, it looks like the Overlook Hotel, which is the Meta Liberation headquarters. But it just reminds me of the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. We go down. I guess they're in a meeting room. We see Reed Destro, Fringe Man. What was that other guy? I forgot
Trumpet?
his name. Yeah, is it Trumpet? Yeah, Trumpet. God, I missed Mr. Compress. Dabi, Toga, Twice, and Spinner, and Gigantomachia. They couldn't find the chair for him, unfortunately.
Hey, he's wearing clothes here too.
Yeah, he is. Interesting.
It's his formal wear.
Yes.
But Hawks is saying, anyway, I'm spreading the good word about liberation ideology. When we cut to the next page, we see Twice slurping away. You sure are a hard worker, Hawks. What a swell guy. And yet the total villain. Come work for me. And he says, thank you. The commission still thinks the League consists of just a few members in hiding, and they're none the wiser about the Liberation Army. And he continues, they're still investigating the League's possible involvement in Deka, but our fellow soldiers are doing their jobs well. All that's left is to slowly but surely re-educate the next generation. And Toga seems to be excited something in that picture. He's like, oh, looking at her tablet.
Oh, she's probably looking at the cameras and seeing Midoriya, would be my guess.
Yeah, and then Twice is littering. He just throws that can, just throws his drink out of the way. He's like, "Boom, bye." And he's like the three boys who've joined Endeavor, as Fringe Man has said. It's Izuku. Truly, what a coincidence. Oh, okay, well that makes sense. Why Toga was all excited.
Yeah, I didn't notice Toga before, so that was a good call out.
Yeah. And Dabi saying, looks like they haven't grown much. And Hawk is like, give them a break. They're still in school. And we cut to Reed Destro, whose nose just seems to vary in size every time we see him. But he's like, well done indeed. You may see yourself out, Hawks. And Hawks is leaving the meeting room. And we have missing his thoughts. I've trained myself not to miss out on even the smallest bit of intel. My fierce wings can pick out sounds from vibrations in the airs. And he's like, just as we discussed then, Spinner, I can hear them. Sure, we want to keep up the troops' morale for now. Right up till Tomura gets his power, then we strike. And we cut back to Endeavor. You see the words, for the other nation, I'm guessing, in a few months from now is, and you see Endeavor, 4 months from now. Destruction for all. And you see Toga going, I guess saying bomb.
Destruction bomb for all.
Yeah. Courtesy of Tomura. And you see just Shigaraki, or Shiggy as some of you prefer, looking at that one hand that we have no clue whose hand that is. Do we? I don't think so.
It's not revealed.
It's the one we've been talking about for months. Like, gee, he got a suspicious bonus hand.
I still need to know whose hand that is.
Yeah,
I would
definitely.
think Nana. Sorry.
Oh, you said it was probably Nana's hand?
That's my guess.
Mine too.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's also, look at how, it's very interesting how his hair was drawn here.
Yeah.
Like, because, it seems like ever since he went, insane with his power, awakened it, and almost destroyed Deka City, like, his hair has seemed more and more white in color, the way it was drawn. And now here, it's almost like it doesn't even have any outlines to it.
Right.
It's just really interesting. I wonder if what he's trying to show with that, just like a tangled mess of a person, or maybe is he more resolved now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like his version of Super Saiyan, like leveling up. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
That's a good point.
Kind of like, it's like a indication of his growth.
Yeah, he's also really muscular.
Well, I think he's pretty lean. I don't think he's. Well, his arm looks a little more muscular than we've seen. His shoulder.
Yeah, he seems a little more toned.
Yeah,
he's got a giraffe neck.
Yeah, he does have a pretty long neck.
And his pants are short. Anyway, one thing I noticed too, going back to the round table meeting, was like the empty chair. So I'm guessing that was Shiggy's chair, and that he's just kind of reflecting on his own at the moment.
Well, Gigantamachi could have took that seat. I mean, it's not like it's seat checked.
No, he's a little big for a chair. I mean, for the chairs they have there. I think
yeah. It's either that or actually Caleb, I think, mentioned it was probably Ice Chick. I think her name was Geten.
Oh.
Because and that would make more sense, I think, personally, because it's on the side of the MLA versus the side of the league. I would imagine if there's an empty chair between Compress and Fridge Guy, that's probably where Shiggy goes as the new leader.
Yeah, I thought about that too because it was covering it up. So I was like, there's probably somebody, because that'd be a weird break on a circular chair or a circular desk like that.
Mm-hmm.
But where is Gibson?
Yeah, it's interesting. They all have laptops.
Oh.
Somebody should get Giganto one. That's not fair.
He likes his radio. He's old school.
He's probably looking off of Compress's laptop. He's like trying to sneak a peek.
I'll mention it now. See if I can find it. Somebody I follow, her name is Iteki Mochi at Iteki Mochi on Twitter, and she's been translating the book, the Ultra Analysis book that came out for the My Hero characters, and one of the comments that she made was that it was revealed in there that Geten is actually male.
Okay.
I don't know how official that is, but that's at least what she said. So that's the first thing we've heard, because he's pretty androgynous, and a lot of people, including myself, assumed that Getten is female, and then I could be wrong about it. Maybe something's off in translation, but I just wanted to mention that.
I think even Caleb went back and was like, "Oh, I'm glad that Getten ended up being a girl and that I didn't use specific pronouns."
Oh,
So
okay.
even like Caleb was thinking
Yeah.
Getten was a girl, but now it sounds like Getten may be a boy. So yeah, I would almost completely still leave it up in the air at this point.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that's an official word. I'm just saying, that's why I credit the source is what it is.
No, sure. And if somebody's translating the book, it very well could be the truth.
Right.
So
Anyway, just
interesting.
want to mention
I was gonna make another mention too, since before we get into the chapter discussion. But so you know how we mentioned just about somebody being between Mr. Compress and Fringe Man.
Mm-hmm.
If you go over to the next page, where is it? Yeah, over the next page after that, where we saw an excited Toga. You see another angle of Fringe Man and Mr. Compress. You can see there's nobody between them.
Interesting. You're
So I
right.
guess so. Tomura was not present at this. I don't know. I just thought that's interesting. I just noticed that.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, because like obviously where Hawks is standing, it looks like somebody could fit in between them, but also like stylistically, I was thinking they probably wanted to show everyone present. I don't know.
No, you're probably right. I think it's safe to assume that Shiggy wasn't here at this meeting, which begs the question: where is he? And has he just been staring at that hand ever since the battle ended?
He's just outside on the roof, just staring at the hand. Not even.
He's keeping his hand to himself.
You're doing so good.
Whatever.
It's so funny. But so what was your thoughts on this chapter, Gary?
Okay, so I did enjoy it. It was kind of like a more cerebral chapter, if you will, as cerebral as Horikoshi can be. Or I'm not saying that as an insult. Like he doesn't get super deep, and so it's like kind of your basic chapter trying to. Sorry, I'm having a hard time describing what I'm trying to say, but trying to like create exposition in a more like mystery sense, like a mystery chapter, but it's not super complicated because it's just like it's pretty obvious what the code is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. So like anyone expecting anything deeper might have been disappointed with it, but you can't. Or I personally don't expect that much in a typical shonen. Like there are some that are very cerebral, and this is more of an action book. So like I wasn't expecting anything super deep. So it's kind of nice that it's not like this huge mystery of like how is Hawks going to relay this message. And but I do like that Endeavor seems to have picked it up pretty quick of what is being said, because I was thinking that was going to take longer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we don't have to like dwell on that too much. I like the look into his agency since we were seeing that for the first time. It's kind of, now that I think about it, like it's got a few aesthetic to the X-Men's Hellfire Club. Not like crazy 1800s or so England, but like it's got like the high walls and the kind of the general rugs and wood paneling, that kind of aesthetic. So I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it would make sense as he's the Hellfire hero and all.
Mm-hmm.
Or what is it? His quirk is Hellfire. Yeah, I like the glimpse of his people because he does seem like a lone wolf, so it's kind of unusual to see him with a team behind him. A bunch of flamers that they are.
Flaming sidekickers.
Oh yeah, the sidekickers. And Oh man, I have to look it up. I think it's the mummy character with the head bandages. He reminds me of like one of the characters in the Frankenberry and Boo Berry and Count Chocula. I think. Oh, let me see.
Man, I could go for some Count Chocula.
Okay, yeah. The character's name is the Fruity Yummy Mummy. He's like an actual.
That's a name.
Yeah. He's an actual character in that group. I've never had that cereal. I don't even know what the flavor is, but
Yeah, I think I've only had Blueberry and Count Chocula. There's a strawberry one. I don't know which one is that one.
that's Frankenberry.
Is it Frankenberry?
Yeah. There's also Fruit Brute, which is like a werewolf.
The Kellogg's lore runs deep.
General Mills.
General Mills. Dang. All right.
Never had Wendigo Psychosis O's? I don't know if you know what Wendigo Psychosis is, but if you're into horror, I don't know if I'll explain it to you later, Gary.
Oh. Okay.
I don't want to fill the entire podcast talking about Wendigos.
No. Okay.
Yeah, boy.
But, yeah.
Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the chapter. I like it. It's one thing I wanted to comment on too is that it feels like it could definitely be just a side. Like there might be more a different story arc before we get into more of this. Like it's because it says toward the end that 4 months is going to go by until like the next phase of this plan.
Mm-hmm.
So it could just be like the beginning stages of it, and the kids are going to be going back to school. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I would like something less serious because it feels like we need something else to break it up a little bit because we just got out of the villain arc, and it was so heavy
and long.
And it felt long. But
I mean, it was February or March all the way through just like a few weeks ago, a month ago.
Was it that
Something
long?
like that's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not positive we're gonna get that, but
I wonder if we get the work studies, like everybody's work studies at least. See what they're up to.
There might be like oh sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say, based off this chapter, I could definitely see Endeavor after piecing everything that Hawks has said here. You know, League has hijacked MLA, 100,000 members strong. He's probably thinking, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls a 180 and goes, oh crap, I need to train up these kids. Like when he realizes just how dire the situation is, and then they're going to be sitting there going, sorry, they're going to be sitting there going like, what changed? He was like, keep up, and now he's like, all right, look, this is what you need to know. That's how I feel this work study is about to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can still see him being like super independent though. Like, I got this, instead of like enlisting aid, even with his agency, other heroes and the interns or whatever they are. Like, I can see him just like trying to take it on himself and being a major mistake.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see that, but I would like to think he would, not pull just a brute, me strong, me take care of it, attitude and realize 100,000 is a lot, and a lot more than he has, and probably the whole combined strength of the hero organization of Japan has. Yeah. So unless I could totally see what you're saying, Gary, him doing that, but I really hope he doesn't, for the sake of everyone. But
I just want him. I want him to get captured and be like the damsel in distress. That's all I want out of Endeavor.
I want him locked up in a high tower.
Yeah, I want him tied to like railroad tracks.
We're sorry, your Endeavor is in another business building.
Yeah.
Another mansion or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Well, what were your thoughts on this chapter, Nick?
Um, so yeah, it was definitely, I kind of agree with Gary. It was definitely more on the cerebral side of a chapter. It wasn't action heavy. It was very purpose driven.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely also thought that the message Hawks was going to take, I don't know, 2, 3, maybe more chapters to get it across to Endeavor. So I'm super glad we just did it in one heavy chapter, and that Endeavor got the message as quickly as he
Mm-hmm.
did. Um, I really enjoyed this chapter. I really enjoyed Burnin, and looking at her again, I'm wondering now. Her hair is on fire, so I wonder if the propane is used to control where the hair shoots the fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that.
Like she could
Maybe.
bend her
Oh,
hair over certain, I guess, nozzles and then let the propane out, and that's what shoots her fire. That'd be an interesting twist on it. Um,
hmm.
yeah, and I like the horse sidekick since we just got Galarian Ponyta. Maybe this is my hero Ponyta. Uh, so that's fun.
My
Definitely in
hero ponytail. Sorry.
it's okay.
It's funny.
um I had definitely enjoyed the look inside Endeavor's agency as well as the what's their new name? I don't know their new name. I can't remember. That's sad. Um the
Yeah.
League plus MLA
Yeah.
name.
The
The
League of Assorted.
paranormal.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah, it's got paranormal in it.
Yes, I think you're right. I think it does have paranormal in it. League of Extraordinary Quirks.
Yeah.
I think that's where James was going.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh yeah.
um, I like this chapter a lot. The more happens, the more I get worried for Hawks that he's gonna slip up and he's gonna get caught.
Yeah.
I mean, he's being bold. He's highlighting books and giving it to Endeavor, which if they're not questioning that, I don't know what they're doing. He's leaving feathers in doorways. Like, that's risky. As soon as somebody opens that door, that feather's gonna fall. Like, I worry for his safety because I think Hawks is a great character and he's been really fun in that his role has been, he hates it, but he knows he has to do it. So
yeah, he's doing a lot, honestly. Like
he is, like he kind of said several chapters ago, like he is basically the only chance Japan has of knowing that this bombshell is about to be dropped, and he knows he has to put in the work to really say like, we're in trouble, guys. We got to do something. But the more he sticks his neck out, the more exposed I think he is, and he's going to get caught, and it's not going to go well. I agree with Gary. We definitely have to see a lot happen in the next 4 months. A lot. There's going to be some interesting arcs and storylines that come from this.
Yeah, because that's like a semester, you know.
Yeah, I think Caleb said 4 months puts him at May, and April to April is like the Japanese school year, which would mean they would just have completed year 1 when whatever this is about to happen.
So it's not a lot of time, honestly, if you think about it.
No, the fact that they've only been training to be heroes for a year. It's obviously been, close to a decade for us watchers, but for these kids, it hasn't even been a full year yet.
Yeah, I think it started in 2013, if I remember correctly. That's been 6 years. That's crazy.
Okay, 6 years. Good night. So these kids are going to have a lot placed on their shoulders in 4 months.
Yeah.
I was thinking when you're talking about Hawks, like something I was thinking during the chapter, if he's highlighting these blurbs in this book, like there's microphones in his wings, but there aren't cameras, right?
Yeah, I think they're just microphones.
Yeah, so why couldn't he write a letter to?
I actually think I think there are cameras, because if you go back to page the page where they're talking about the 3 boys who joined Endeavor, Dobby has like a
Oh,
picture in front of him that appears to be Hawks interfering. So
okay.
there's got to be some form of cameras for him to be thinking like in a perfectly clear visual.
Yeah. I guess it makes sense. Yeah, I don't remember it expressly being stated, but yeah,
Well, plus, she's Toga saying, "Oh, it's Izuku," and she
yeah,
wouldn't have known that unless she was either listening or
yeah,
looking, and
looking.
she's looking at the looks
Yeah,
like an iPad or a laptop. That's an
right,
iPad.
right.
So I think and you bring up a good point there because if you go and look at the highlighted portions,
Mm-hmm.
that's dangerous too. Because
Right,
if
right.
they watched him highlight this, they got to be questioning it because he highlighted it is vexing that. What does
Yeah,
that mean?
right.
Worthy
Yeah,
opponent. Who is the worthy opponent? Like this is very sporadic,
Right.
nonsensical highlighting. So if they're watching him and they watched him do that, they might have an idea that he's up to something too. So uh, he's he's sticking himself out really far.
yeah,
Right.
because the way he highlighted it, whenever you send somebody some highlighted words, it's usually a full sentence or a phrase or something within context. This is just out of context, just random words.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's like not even really being sneaky. I mean, if anybody from the Metal Liberation Army just saw that, they would have just known automatically because it's not that, it's so simple the way he did it.
It's
Hmm.
not like he could have done full sentences or what have you if it was just I mean, it would have kept with his highlighting the second word thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it does seem nonsensical. If they're viewing it, they would notice something was wrong
Right.
or
And
up.
if all you
Yeah.
care about is the second word, you could highlight as much as you want after it. So like he
Right.
could have highlighted a whole nother thought moving forward, but he just highlighted like four words that in if out of context make no sense. So I really think Hawks is in trouble. If
Uh,
they don't already suspect or know,
Right.
then they're just so blinded by how excited they are that they have 100,000 army and are about to do something in 4 months. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. It could just be that he's totally underestimating Endeavor's intellectual capacity, and that's probably what it is.
Yeah. And the way he talks, he just like the way Hawks has been kind of with his thoughts, it just sounds like he kind of knows he might be, something might happen to him. It's
Right.
just, so I think he just knows that maybe his time is limited, and he's just like, I just have to get the point across. He's like, I don't care what happens to me.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's fair. Also want to
Interesting.
know how he found the word 100,000 in that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We'll
But
never know because we don't know if they'll ever release that raw PDF file.
that's still mind-boggling that he
I
did
want to.
that.
I know. I want to read it now too.
But yeah, my thoughts loved it. Loved the chapter. Was really excited reading it and enjoying walking alongside Endeavor's revelation. I'm just curious to see what happens next.
Same. And as for my thoughts, I mean, y'all basically said the same. You basically had the same thing I had to say. That it was very cerebral. And another thing that I did like about it though is that we did get an actual time frame of when this is going to happen. And like, 4 months is really a short amount of time if you think
Mm-hmm.
about it. And like you said, about the school year that we're just going to probably just end that first semester. So I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah. The time limit is definitely concerning.
Yes. I don't,
Sorry, I wasn't continuing that
no,
because
that's
that
okay.
that
Yeah,
was
I
it.
was no, I was looking around to see if there was anything else I could talk about, but I mean, y'all basically said what like. I mean, I couldn't really add anything more to it. So
Hmm.
other than I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. Always good seeing everybody.
Hmm.
Shame that Gigantomach is too big for a chair.
I was wondering too if like some of the information that Hawks was given was misinformation. And so like some of the things that he is highlighting, like for example, 4 months from now, maybe that was a misdirection. And so like Endeavor might be thinking, okay, I have 4 months, but in actuality, it's like 2 weeks, and he's taken off completely off of guard.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's entirely plausible. If my train of thought is correct and they know Hawks is, full of it, they could be watching their backs and making sure they only say certain things around him or when they suspect he's listening in. The only thing that makes me question it is the one thing we didn't talk about is the sentence right up until Tamura gets his power, then we strike. What is his power?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's been hinted at with what's the doctor's name? The Dr. Eggman guy. Like he said, like, okay, now you're ready for this power. And so it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's additional powers from All for One.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That would
yeah,
make
that's
sense.
true.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's my guess. Yeah, and to kind of like put him on an even playing field with Midoriya as he gains the powers of each member of One for All. That's kind of where my mind has been going.
Yeah. All right. Does anyone have any additional thoughts, or?
I just random thought from me. Do we think that 4 months from now, whatever's about to happen, is this end game for My Hero Academia, or is this just another big brawl that's coming?
I would say I don't know. I don't think so. Just because they're really, like, I know it's been going on for a while, but if you think about the progression of like the actual series, it hasn't really even been a full year since they started, has it? Like in their timeline?
No.
Yeah.
Well, unless you count when they were in grade school before entering high school.
Yeah, that's true. But
Then it would be a year, but other than that, no, it hasn't been.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so much, like, I don't know if they want to finish them out, going through, UA and stuff, or if they end up like advancing out of UA because of all the hardships they faced or something. But it's really interesting because I think we made that note that they didn't need to go to UA or something. I can't remember. I know I said something about it a few weeks ago. I don't know. It's strange.
I was gonna mention, I think the fourth individual page, no, third individual page from the end. So I'm not talking double spread, but where it shows Rudestro on the top, or not, Rudestro on the top looking at Hawks as he exits. Like it reminds me of Troll Face.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
It does now that you mention. I thought you were troll facing. I thought you were troll facing the the mummy.
I just saw that you sent a picture of the troll face, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
it does.
So that was why. But
it totally does look like.
It reminds me of a couple things, but yeah, that's one of them.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said before, I hope that this is just a side to like some random story arc that we get more focused on the students, but I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't lead directly into this big, huge war thing.
Yeah. Well, the way I'm kind of hoping that we do get like more from the students, but like we also get just a little bit of background of what's going on, behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'd like to see, like we were kind of like talking about a little bit with, and by the way, it's called the Paranormal Liberation Front.
There you go. I thought it was a front. I couldn't remember though.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if that was the first one or the second one. But anyway, like how we were talking about Kaminari, like doing the liberation pose with his fingers. Like it would be interesting for some of the students to get involved with it unwittingly. Like somebody, for example, their internship or work study is with Slide and Go. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting take.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if that's why, putting two and two together here, the work study has to be because of Hawks' message, right? how he's saying the commission, I'm sure, has already gotten it, figured out my code, and then we had the talk with the teachers of this is kind of a dire situation. They're gearing us up for something.
Right.
I think those two are directly correlated.
Yeah, you could be right. It would be like Mina Ashido with Slide and Go would be pretty good because she slides around on her acid.
That'd be fun.
All right. So should we close this out?
Oh, I guess so.
All right. And where can people find you, Nick?
I am mostly on Twitter at Nickarot, Nickarot, tweeting about staying up till all hours of the night watching Galarian Ponyta and My Hero Academia and One Piece and Nintendo in general. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Nice. And you, Gary?
I am at Wrath of Giraffes on Twitter, and this month, the spooky month of October, I am Wraith of Giraffes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Nick, did you make a spooky name or?
Yeah, instead of Nick, it's Arca Nightmare.
Yeah, that's a good one. You should.
Y'all's was way better though.
Oh, whatever.
Put me to shame.
I was just thinking this. You should have been Nick at Night.
That would have been so good.
I would if I haven't heard it for the last 32 years.
Oh, you. Okay, sorry.
Trust me, that's a common one.
Okay. Well, the way to take away my originality.
No, it was good. It was at least you meant it more playfully than it's been said in the past.
Yeah.
All right.
Where can they find you? Well,
Where can you find me, huh? Okay, well, you can find me on Twitter at @ThatOneWelderGuy, aka Weldy, and my spooky name is The Welding Dead.
I love that. That was so good.
Yeah, I was like, what can I put welding in there? And I was like, there's The Walking Dead. I'm like, I'll do The Welding Dead. But yeah, and you can also listen to my other podcast. Well, this is my only podcast that I do. Is Kicking Stones podcast, which is a Doctor's manga.
Yeah. Oh, I want a Dr. Manga series now.
It's a spin-off with manga Fugadashi. What's this Fugadashi from my
Yes.
Yes. But no, it's a Dr. Stone manga podcast where we read through the manga chapters. We're starting from the very beginning. We're trying to catch up, but right now we're doing 2 chapters at a time. Hopefully we can get at least 3 or 4, but I don't know. Listen to us there on Twitter at Dr. Stone Pod, where we have underscores instead of spaces, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts. We have Sanku on the profile picture, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. And you can follow Sophie and Kendra, who are on the One Piece podcast right now, at you can follow Sophie at Chopper's Left Antlers and Kendra at Sniper of My Heart. And you can follow the My Hero Academia. There's a lot of
things to follow.
A lot of plugs here. Sorry, but yes, you can follow the My Hero Academia podcast at MHA Pod. And let's see, go give the One Piece podcast episode a listen when it comes out.
Mm-hmm. It will be good. I'm not sure what episode it is, but
guaranteed.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what they're gonna say. But yeah, I'm very excited for them and happy that they got to go on.
Same.
But does anybody have a plus ultra thing? Because I could not come up with one.
I got a good one.
All right, let's lead us out, Gary.
Well, when you slide, make sure you slide and go beyond.
Plus
ultra.
All right.
Can't believe we didn't do that one yet.
That's a good one.
That was a good one.